Hello, I'm oozePOP, and this video has been a long time coming. I considered dropping this project because it's just been a long time since this was due. It's long overdue. But I decided that this subject means so much to me, so I've got to do it, of course. I like to talk about music. Music's my favorite thing in the world, okay? But for anybody who knows me, my favorite genre is easily hardcore punk. And so I'm finally going to talk about my favorite hardcore punk albums of 2023. Yeah, I know. We're already halfway done, almost, with 2024. Why are you barely making this video? I've just had my mind on other things. And after going back through all my playlists I made in 2023, trying to make my album of the year list, I realized, man, only hardcore punk really popped off this year. In 2023, that is. I didn't really listen to all that much non-hardcore music, probably just because it wasn't as good as what the hardcore scene was offering for me. 2023 went crazy. Easily the best year for hardcore punk, in my humble opinion. And because of that, my general non-hardcore albums of the year, it may include a hardcore album or two, who knows. My general list will only be a top 5 album because I don't really have that many to pick from. But my hardcore album of the year, hardcore top 10 albums list, is going to be a top 10 because there was so much hardcore albums this year, hardcore releases, that I just, even 10, I'm gonna be eliminating a whole bunch of stuff that I like, okay? This list is gonna be top 10 releases, not albums. Because if an EP is good enough, EP is just as strong as an album is. This can also be true for like a demo or even a single, but I don't think we're going to see that on this list. I don't think that's gonna happen. Rest in peace, Eddie Leeway. He wasn't gone by the time 2023 is over, but he's gone now. I believe that's true, unless we just learned about it. But rest in peace, Eddie Leeway. Been listening to a lot of Leeway lately. I don't know, I guess that's it. Without further ado, here's oozePOP's top 10 hardcore releases of 2023. At number 10 is the Tsunami LP by a band called Tsunami. You might be upset with me putting this at number 10. Why is this at the bottom, you might say? It's not at the bottom, okay? There was like 30 or 40 hardcore albums I had to sift through, okay? So I had to make sure the best of the best ones made it into this video. And I consider the Tsunami LP one of the best this year, okay? You can't talk about hardcore in 2023 without mentioning Tsunami. They are like the biggest band right now, okay? The Tsunami LP goes crazy. It goes hard. It's just ignorant as hell. When you think of ignorant hardcore, I hope that Tsunami is the first band you think of. I don't mean ignorant in a negative way. I mean that nasty, filthy shit, okay? This LP is pretty quick. I think it's like 20 minutes, 22 minutes, something like that. Pretty fast, but the songs just kick your face in. There's a few samples sprinkled throughout the album. The riffs just go hard. You're moshing the whole time. It's absolutely beautiful. Don't really know what else I could say about the Tsunami LP. It's just really awesome. It's a good way to get people into hardcore. I had a friend, his name's Coda, hope he's watching this. He wasn't that into hardcore yet. He was more of a pop punk guy. I showed him Tsunami, changed his life. He's now a hardcore head, okay? Tsunami's a good way to show people what the current hardcore scene is all about. Got another friend named Ben. Haven't seen him or talked to him in a long time. I better text him soon. But last time I spoke to him, I was just like, and he doesn't seem like the kind of guy to like this kind of music. I really don't know how to judge Ben, but hardcore is not really what I would guess he's into. But last time I saw Ben, I asked him, "You into hardcore music, man?" He's like, "Well, I like Tsunami." So that should tell you how big of an impact they have on the scene right now. Even if you're not that into hardcore, you know who Tsunami is. Bay Area legends, okay? San Jose legends. I haven't seen Tsunami live yet, but I've seen their members play in other bands. And I have tickets to go to Sound and Fury this year. So I'm going to get to see Tsunami, and it's gonna be crazy. Anyway, that's probably all I have to say about the Tsunami LP. Go listen to it. One of the best hardcore albums of the year, 2023. Album number 9 on my list of top 10 hardcore releases of 2023 is called So Unknown by oozePOP's. This album rules, okay? This album's hard, it's heavy, and in my opinion, it's paradigm shifting for heavy beatdown metalcore style music like that. You might listen to it and think it's kind of standard, run of the mill, but in my opinion, that's just a trick because the album just has this very classic nature to it. You've never heard it before, but you feel like it's always existed. Such a great album by such a great band. And I definitely think that you need to listen to this album right away if you haven't. It was quite hard to determine which 10 hardcore releases I was going to put on this list. And even then, it was really hard to determine in which order am I putting these releases in. But the reason why So Unknown goes above the Tsunami LP, in my opinion, is because it just sounds awesome. The Tsunami LP is great. It's ignorant, it's nasty, it's filthy, but also it's kind of basic. It's kind of standard. You listen to 1 or 2 songs, you kind of get the idea. You understand how the rest of the album is going to play out. Not that that's a bad thing. Just because you can predict what kind of ride you're in for doesn't mean you're in for a little kid ride. It's a crazy ride, that Tsunami LP. But So Unknown by oozePOP's just takes it a step further. These songs, you feel like you could hear them on the radio, even though they're hard and aggressive and definitely mosh-minded. You somehow get a little bit more of this accessible nature. Like you can see oozePOP's touring with like Hatebreed or maybe even headlining a big festival, you know? oozePOP's just has something special to their music, and I think it's very easy to see in this album that I'm talking about, So Unknown. else to say. It's heavy, but it's also catchy. I don't think there's any clean vocals. If there is, I don't really remember them. They're very few and far between, if any at all. I think if you're into heavy music, hard music, and even music that's got a little bit of that metal flair to it, listen to Jesus Pieces, So Unknown. Number 9 on my top 10 hardcore releases of 2023. Number 8 on my top 10 hardcore releases list. Like I said, it's fast hardcore, so lots of blast beats, lots of circle pits, but because it's hardcore, lots of mosh parts, lots of slowed down breakdowns. Exactly what you want in a release like this. Is a release called Black Tar by Scalp. I think this release is considered an EP, but the intention certainly makes it feel like an LP. It's got an intro, songs blend together in such an album-like way. It's such a complete release, full of the best grindcore power violence music I've ever heard. Okay? Their logo is one of the sickest logos you've ever seen in music. Their music goes hard. I don't really know what else to say about them. Black Tar is really cool because it starts with a very slow and soft but still brooding and sinister intro, and then it just smacks you in the face with, I want to say, 10-13 minutes of grindcore. I could be wrong about that, could be longer. Regardless, it feels like an album to me, even though it's probably not. I think it's really, really good. It's brutal, it's violent, it sounds good, it feels good, it's everything you want out of a very fast, hardcore record like this. I actually ended up buying this on vinyl, and on side B, on the second side of the album, there's just kind of a locked groove to it, like a drone track, very long, extra drone track that's not available on the actual like streaming services, but on vinyl it's there. Really awesome release. Go give it a listen. Number 7 on my hardcore releases of 2023 actually is a full album. It does have quite a bit of songs on it, quite obviously an LP. And you might feel like it's pretty low on the list. Again, it was really hard to determine which releases to pick for this list. But at number 7 is Outcry by Never Ending Game. This album goes so hard. And if you're a hardcore fan, this is one of the catchiest albums of the year. You might think it's weird to call it catchy, but it's got choruses, it's got mosh parts, and it's got riffs that stick in your head. The breakdowns for Hate Today, Die Tomorrow, I can hum you that whole song on guitar. You got and that already feels like a breakdown. The verses just already feel like breakdowns, and you're moshing the whole time anyway. And then you've got the hate today, die tomorrow. Wah. It's you want to like it's hard to explain. It's just written in such a perfect way that almost every song on here sticks in your head. Every song has that really awesome formula. Catchy choruses, hard hooks, scary breakdowns. Really, really good. Never Ending Game is a definitive hardcore band today, and you need to listen to Outcry immediately. Number 6 on the list of top 10 hardcore releases of 2023 is Evil Eyes by Terena. Terena? I'm kind of giving it like that Hispanic flair. Evil Eyes is a very short EP. 5 songs. They go so hard. And Terena is a crazy band. They're from somewhere in the 805. Ventura, Oxnard, I think, maybe. And I consider the 805 my home. I'm originally from Santa Maria, California. Living in Northern California now. But I've seen Terena a couple times. I've seen them in the 805, and I've seen them in the Bay Area. They put on a great show. Hella vicious hardcore band. Evil Eyes is a hardcore classic as far as I'm concerned. I think 10 years from now, people will be like, remember this? Remember this Terena thing? Even if Terena's not a band anymore. It's just so quick, so hard, so cool. The breakdowns are cool, the riffs are cool, the energy is cool. These are young guys. I'm just guessing on their ages. They look like they're ages 20 to 23 at most. They're having a good time. They're making killer music. The songs on Evil Eyes are amazing. I like every single song, every single breakdown. I think my favorite one is the very last track. I forget the track names right now, but I can remember the riffs. There's this riff that goes, I won't hum it. It's gonna be ridiculous, but it just sounds really good. And I've shown other people this music and they said it kind of sounds like Slipknot. I get what they're saying. I wouldn't really say that, but I see where they're coming from. Anyway, Evil Eyes by Terena, insanely good hardcore EP that deserves your attention right away. Number 5 on my list of the top 10 hardcore releases of 2023 is another short one, probably even shorter than the last one, but I don't think I'm going to get many people disagreeing with me here that this release is one of the most important releases of the year. One of my favorite releases, one of my girlfriend's favorite releases. She listens to this band a lot. We've seen them plenty of times. 3 times? 6 times? I don't know. We go to the hardcore Bay Area punk shows all the time. We've seen them a few times. They're amazing. These guys are amazing. I'm going to Sound and Fury later this year. This is going to be Big Boy's second time playing Sound and Fury. It's going to go crazy. It's going to go crazy. I'm ready. Ready for Big Boy to kill it. Big Boy always kills it. But anyway, did I say the name of the release yet? It's Spring Promo 2023. Okay? Big Boy's Spring Promo 2023 is off the hook. The best way that I can explain it, it's by a feeling, it's by a vibe. And here's the vibe I get, okay? I've never seen Have Heart live. Never had a chance to. By the time I discovered who they even were in high school, I believe they already played their last show. Regardless, Have Heart were the torch holders of their moment. And sure, I might not have gotten the chance to see them, although I will this year at Sound and Fury, baby. But to my point, although I might not have gotten the chance to see them in that moment, Big Boy feels like the Have Heart of this moment. Now, granted, Big Boy's not a straight edge band. I don't think so. They might have some straight edge members, but I don't think they're a straight edge band. But regardless, that doesn't even matter. I don't care. I love bands whether they're straight edge or not. Although when it comes to hardcore punk, the straight edge ones I tend to like a lot, even though I'm not straight edge. Don't know why that is. I just recently quit alcohol. I'm gonna see how long we can go with that. Weed, on the other hand, whatever. Anyway, back to Big Boy. So many good songs on this promo. It's just a demo tape. They don't even have any official LPs. They don't even have any official demos. It almost feels like they didn't expect to take off and become so big. So many good songs. Spades, huge song. Ace of Spades, huge pile on. Everybody wants the mic. Everyone's spin kicking. It's insane, okay? So many good songs on this EP. Well, it's only 5 songs, but every second of this promo, it's a demo. Every second this little promo tape is perfection. It's hardcore perfection. It's, I don't know how to explain it, very accessible, beat down hardcore. Like there's obviously more brutal and more down-toned beatdown than this, right? But something about this kind of beatdown hardcore is like, everybody get in here. I don't give a fuck who you are. Just get the fuck up here and sing. And if you don't know how to sing, then fucking mosh. My favorite song on the demo tape, I believe it's the last one on there. It's called TNT. It almost feels like a hate breed song, except for the vocals. It's gonna happen again, time and time again. You need to listen to this one. I almost feel bad not giving this one #1, just because I've seen this band so many times. But as I've been saying over and over again, you'll probably hear me say it a few more times. It's so hard. It's still so hard to decide exactly what order the top 10 albums are going to be in. But I truly feel in my heart that the next 4 albums that I'm going to talk about on this video are more, how do I explain it? I feel like I have a better case to justify putting them higher on the list. These are truly better. I'm not saying that, again, I love all these albums. I even love so many hardcore albums from 2023 that are not on this list. This is one of the more challenging but fun things I've ever had to do in my life. Decide specifically. I'm so glad I'm capturing this on video, and I'm ashamed that it took me so long to make this video. But I'm 31 years old, and one of the most fun things I've ever had to do was decide which hardcore albums of 2023 are my favorite. This specific little activity. And the reason why is because there was so freaking much hardcore, and getting to listen to all of that, even the ones that didn't make it onto this list, it's like, wow, it's so fun. We really did all that. I went to so many hardcore shows in 2023. A lot of them were Big Boy. So that's why it's so hard to do this, but it's also so fun. Anyway, go listen to Spring Promo 2023. Really fun, hardcore EP, demo, whatever you want to call it. Very strong. Deserves to be on this list, okay? Go listen. #4 on my list of top 20 hardcore punk releases is Living Proof by Drain. Undoubtedly, this is one of the hardcore punk releases of the year. So, if you ask me, Drain is kind of the hardcore band. Now, technically it's Knocked Loose. You can't hear enough about Knocked Loose. Knocked Loose is like the biggest hardcore band in the world right now. But as much as I liked Knocked Loose is popular in like the festival scene, right? They're huge. They're touring with Slipknot. That's crazy. Knocked Loose is still a hardcore band, more of a metalcore band, but still, they're a pretty popular band. Drain, however, well, Drain, they're not the kind of band to tour with Slipknot. Not yet, anyway. They are climbing really fast. But Drain is just so cool because, well, first and foremost, their music is great. They make crossover thrash metal with breakdowns. Thrash metal that's mosh-minded for hardcore people like me and you, okay? Drain's Living Proof is such a fantastic album from start to finish. There's a cover on there. They cover a Descendants song, Good Things. I believe that's the most popular song on the album. But even if not, you can kind of ignore that song because that song is just kind of like a fun pit stop. I consider it like a filler track that I'll never skip. You get me? It's a great song. It's probably the least essential song on the album. I went to go see Drain, I believe last year, March of 2023, maybe 22, but I think it was 23. I bought tickets to go see Downpresser somewhere in the 805. Was it Ventura? Was it Oxnard? I think it was Oxnard, but I don't remember. I thought to myself, well, it's close to my birthday. I'll go see my family for my birthday. I live in Northern California. My family lives in Southern California. I said, I'll go see my family for my birthday, go to a hardcore show while I'm there. Why not? Like 2 or 3 days before the show happens, like 5 more bands are added, one of them being Drain. Made absolutely no sense. It was just originally like supposed to be Downpresser, Violation, man, Slow Bleed, I think. I don't remember who all was originally supposed to be there. But it quickly, with very little time to prepare for it, turned into like the best hardcore show of the year. At least one of them. I think it was like the craziest one. From top to bottom, let's see if I can't remember. It was like Drain, Violation, Downpresser. In reality, Downpresser should have been above Violation, but the hardcore scene is really cool. Violation's like an old band that time has kind of forgotten. They have less than 1,000 listeners on Spotify. But it's like an old band that came back just to like do a show, and so they put them as the headliner. They would have been the headliner if Drain wasn't there, right? So got Drain, Violation, Downpresser, and now the bands before that, I'll probably mix up the order. I want to say Dead Heat, Terena. I remember there's a band called Bad Ones. I don't think they're on Spotify yet. And then another band called Slow Bleed. Slow Bleed and Bad Ones have the same singer. But Bad Ones was a little bit more traditional hardcore. They covered a Madball song. Whereas Slow Bleed, they're a bit more like deathcore, I think, or metalcore. I don't really remember. Regardless, one of the best shows I've ever been to. And now that we're in the top 5 releases, hardcore releases, these segments are going to be a little bit longer. So sorry, I know I have yet to talk about the album, Living Proof. But hey, when I got to go see Drain, I got to see them perform a bit of Living Proof before it was released. A little bit before it was released. They were just playing the singles. They were mostly playing stuff off of California Cursed. Now, I'm not sure which album I like between California Cursed and Living Proof. And you wanna know what? I think that's a good thing. I think both albums are so classic, it is hard to determine which one you like more. Let's talk a little bit about Drain's Living Proof. This album is just great. It's fantastic. I already talked about it a little bit, but let's repeat it and let's expand on it, okay? Drain's Living Proof, thrash metal with lots of moshing in mind the entire time. Whether you're two-stepping, whether you're jumping, whether you're spin kicking. you can do something, whether you're stage diving, you can do something the entire time this album is playing. There's like one little tiny slow part at the very end of the album. Okay, it's an outro. Whatever. This album is just so good. There's so many good songs on here that I like. Like I said, the Descendants cover, it's really catchy. So if you're not into hard and heavy stuff, or if you're around your friends, but you still want to listen to Drain when they are not into that kind of music, you could put on Good Things. I think that's what it's called. Good Things About You. You could put that song on and it's fine. But if you're like me, FTS KYS, Find the Strength, Kill Yourself. That's a really good track. That's a really fun song. If not that one, I really like, what is it? Watch You Burn. That's a fantastic one. That's a really good one. Watch You Burn. Like really epic parts. It's hard to explain, but if there's something that Drain does right, it's that they figured out the formula. They're so in tune to the hardcore scene. They know what to do to make people move and to make people sing, right? However, they're not so formulaic that it sounds too traditional or too tropey. In fact, it's kind of the opposite. When I say formulaic, I don't mean the hardcore formula. I mean the Drain formula. Drain figured out their formula. They figured out something that works for them, and that's what they're doing. And so it's thrash metal, but with mosh parts, time signature changes. Another band that I would classify as crossover thrash would be Dead Heat. But if you listen to Drain and listen to Dead Heat, you're like, no way, this is not the same genre of music. I do kind of consider it the same genre of music. I just think that Drain is doing something so unique that they're the current winners of the crossover thrash race, if there even is one. They're just so cool. Drain is such a cool band. Really hard, really heavy, but really fun, really like positive. The singer, Sammy, really, he looks like so stoked and happy to do what he's doing. And whenever I go to the hardcore Bay Area shows, he's often there, just hanging out, just watching the shows. It's really cool. Great band in general, good guys. Great album from a great band. And I'm of the opinion, and this is not a dig at Knocked Loose. I brought up Knocked Loose earlier to say that Knocked Loose might be at the top right now. They might be the face of hardcore. And, you know, they deserve it. But in my opinion, if the sea changes a little bit and the audience is willing to open up to something new, I think Drain deserves to be at the top. You get what I'm saying? I think they are the hardcore band, the real hardcore band of the moment. Again, not a dig at Knocked Loose. I love them. I love all their work. I love all even their new stuff's pretty good. The new stuff their album's not out yet, but the singles that have been released as of me making this video have been pretty good. They took some growing. When I first heard them, I'm like, this isn't as great as the Knocked Loose I already know, but yeah, it's pretty good. It's metalcore. And then as I've sat on them a little bit, yeah, they're growing on me. Knocked Loose is a great band. Don't think I'm knocking them. I just think that Drain is the hardcore band of the moment. And if you need proof of that, their latest album is living proof. Top 10 hardcore releases of 2023. Number 3. Not Through Blood by Pain of Truth. Oh my god, this album rules. This album is so hard. And if you put this at number 3, what on earth is at number 2? This is like the hardest album of the year. I'm a big fan of the Hard Lore podcast. You guys are familiar with Hard Lore, right? If not, big mistake. Best podcast that exists, especially if you're a hardcore punk fan. I'm biased. I kind of feel like it's just a funny podcast in general, and you should find some humor in it. If you just in general, if you like podcasting. But if you're a fan of hardcore punk, be careful with Hard Lore. This podcast will ruin your life. Every few seconds, a band you've never heard of is mentioned, and now you got to go listen to them and fall in love with them and fall in love with all their side projects. And man, it takes me sometimes weeks to get through an episode. Oh my goodness. I bring them up because this album, Not Through Blood, if I'm remembering correctly, was their album of the year, hardcore album of the year for 2023. Totally love and respect that decision. Love this album to death. I'm gonna listen to this album for the rest of my life. This album rules. Classic hardcore album. Not Through Blood is kind of like, it's kind of like a rap album. Now it kind of has rap energy first and foremost. Sometimes the delivery is like very like New York rap, just right in your face, spitting in your face. So it does kind of have somewhat of like a rap aesthetic to it, kind of. Not as strong as like a Gridiron or E-Town Concrete or Limp Bizkit, right? Not as strong as that, but you do kind of get like this, like, you know what I mean? This is how you want to like dance to Pain of Truth. As soon as you hit play on the album, it just starts. Like it just starts right away. It's so sick. Heavy bass line, heavy riffs. They shout their own band name, Pain of Truth. It's so sick. This album is unreal. This album is awesome. Another reason why it's kind of like a rap album is that it's just so full of features. Every single song except one instrumental song is featuring at least one vocalist from another band. The first song, I forget the song titles, I just remember. I remember the song titles, I just forget which song goes to which riff. I just remember all the lyrics. I listen to this album so much. It's just Not Through Blood to me. You get what I mean? It's just Not Through Blood. You've got Actin' Up. I believe Actin' Up is the one with 200 stab wounds that goes, slick motherfucker, now you'll feel the same. Pain 200 stab wounds in your back, you'll remember my name. You got Terror, you got Vain, you got Mind Force, you got Bad Seed, which apparently is also a member of, the guy who's in Bad Seed is also a member of Title Fight, one of my favorite bands of all time. Hardcore punk is just an awesome genre. Not Through Blood is an awesome album in that genre that's absolutely necessary. You must listen to it. It's really cool that this kind of thing is being like normalized and popularized. I think more bands, more hardcore bands should exist, and there's already a lot. I want more though, but more hardcore bands should exist, and there should be more collaborations. I know, like, it's already a hyper collaborative genre. I want more! I want more! Give me more hardcore! Anyway, this album just rules. I don't want to go too much about it. You just have to listen to it. It speaks for itself right away. Spin kicking the whole time. Throwing fists the whole time. Stage diving the whole time. Shouting lyrics the whole time. I went to go see these guys live. Absolutely unreal, absolutely bonkers. Killer, killer, killer. During the last during the last song of Pain of Truth set, I saw them at 924 Gilman. Fucking most punk venue I've ever been to, by the way. So Pain of Truth plays the last breakdown, but then they let it ring out. Every band member switches instruments with Torena, and they do one final fucking breakdown. Fucking microphone stands flying everywhere. There was a traffic cone in the pit. How the fuck did that get in there? Shit was flying everywhere. A kid got smacked in the face and he just like ate that shit. He's like throwing swings, microphone in the face, continues throwing swings. It was the most fucking beautiful thing I've ever seen. I don't give a fuck that I got hit with a microphone stand in the face. I'm here to mosh, bitch. Insane energy, insane. There's this like young guy that goes to all the hardcore shows. I just saw him at a Mind Force one recently, but he was also at this Pain of Truth one. He's like, I think he's like 19. He's really, really young, but he's like 6'5" or something, right? 6'7", but he's moshing like he's 5'8". He's going across the pit, spin kick, spin kick, spin kick, spin kick. He's not trying to hit anyone though. He's just this brings everyone. This kind of music brings everyone together in aggressive, like mutual anger, but like positive anger. It's hard to explain. Really, really love Pain of Truth. Really love Not Through Blood. It's insanely hard. Insanely hard. If you like moshing, Pain of Truth, Not Through Blood. It's calling your name. If you don't know this band, if you don't know this album, big mistake. I think you should listen to everything Pain of Truth has done. They don't have too much music. They have this album. They've got like a 4 or 5 song EP. They have a split, and if I'm being honest, I'm the one making a mistake here. I haven't really listened to that Age of Apocalypse. I think that's what it's called. Pain of Truth, Age of Apocalypse split. I haven't listened to that too much. I know I should. It's because there's so much hardcore out there. There's so much hardcore. How am I supposed to listen to all of it? It's all so good. That's about it. Pain of Truth, Not Through Blood. Amazing album. Go listen. Number 2 on the top 10 releases, top 10 hardcore releases of 2023 is going to the album Satisfaction by Spy. This band rules. This album rules. It's a really short album. I think it's 13 minutes long, but it still feels very much like an LP. It's called an LP. They refer to it as a full length, but it is very short. I wouldn't be upset if someone technically labeled it an EP, but the intention is that it's an LP, and it's called an LP when you look at it on streaming services, and when you go to buy the vinyl or whatever, it's referred to as an LP. I think this album rules, and it's, as you can see from its placement on this list, one of my favorite hardcore albums of 2023, probably one of my favorite hardcore albums ever. It's just really aggressive. I want to say really fast, but not the kind of fast you're thinking of. You got that circle pit type of beat, and I think Spy does do a little bit of that kind of drum beat. What Spy does is instead like a gorilla beat. They go like, and it's just, it goes crazy. I don't know any of their lyrics. Can't really understand what's happening. The music is so blown out, so distorted. But I still love it. I still think this is one of the best albums I've ever heard. I think one of the songs is not even performed in English, maybe more than one. So can you really blame me for not quite understanding? Regardless, I think Spy's Satisfaction is very unique compared to what the surrounding hardcore acts are doing. There's lots of hardcore punk nowadays, and most of it feels related to each other. Spy's Satisfaction certainly feels related. You know it's a hardcore punk album, but it's flipped the formula completely on its head. They're not writing songs the same way other hardcore punk bands write songs. They're doing their own thing. Yeah, not too much I could say about this. I'll keep it brief. It's just a great album full of great songs. I think every song on here is really good. I believe just about all of them except like one, the final one, is under 2 minutes. So what reason do you really have to not check it out? It's gonna take you no time at all to listen to the whole thing and fall in love with it. And then it's such a good listen. Easy to just listen to over and over and over again. My favorite song on the album is Cognac, but the whole album just rules. You wouldn't skip any of it. And yeah, love this album. Go listen to Satisfaction by Spy. And last but not least, my #1 favorite hardcore release of the year for 2023. It's gonna go to Of Days Renewed by Magnitude. This album absolutely rules. Magnitude is a straight edge band from the East Coast. I almost want to say like Virginia or Vermont or Kentucky. I don't know, something like that. Straight edge hardcore band from there. And man, I haven't fell for a release in a long time. For a hardcore release and release in general, but this release just rules. I ended up learning every song from this album on guitar, and if you need proof, go look at my Instagram. I learned the first song on guitar and my brain thought, hold on, there's a bit of a formula here. You can probably learn all of these songs. And I did without, I don't think I looked up the tabs. There might have been a couple parts where I looked up another person's cover and I saw what they were doing with their hands and I'm like, oh, okay, it's like this, not like this, whatever, right? But still, the reason why I'm even bringing that up and rambling about it is because of this other thing I'm going to bring up and ramble on about. You guys are aware of Steven Universe, right? I've never really watched it, but I'm aware of it. I don't really know what it's about, but I can identify the art style, and that art style was kind of hard to escape for a little while, wasn't it? What I thought about that art style, and I'm the worst artist. I cannot draw. I could probably paint abstract stuff, but I cannot draw to save my life. I can play guitar, bass, drums. I can sing, I can scream. I cannot fucking draw, and I really wish I could, but I can't. My opinion of the Steven Universe art style is that it's so accessible, so easy to do, almost like an open patent kind of art. Anyone can just look at how to make Steven Universe drawings and do it. Like, I might not know how to draw, but I sort of believe if I really took the time to, I could draw Steven Universe like characters, at least rough sketches of it. Might not be that good, but you understand what I'm saying, right? The reason I bring this up is I think Magnitude's Of Days Renewed is that for hardcore music, right? Magnitude plays only a half step down. They play an E flat standard, so anybody can do that. Like, lots of hardcore bands are playing in C standard or maybe even drop A sometimes. Like, it gets crazy, and you think to yourself, like, I'm barely learning how to play guitar. I don't know fucking how to drop tune stuff. I don't know what kind of gear to buy, whatever. Magnitude makes it really easy for beginners, or maybe you're not a beginner but you're just learning about hardcore music and you don't know how to write a hardcore song or what is possible for you to do on the guitar in order to make a hardcore song. I think Magnitude's Of Days Renewed makes it easy to understand. You just tune your guitar half a step down. Anyone can do that. You could buy any standard guitar from any shop and tune it half a step down, unless it's like the world's shittiest guitar, right? And then you learn 1 or 2 of these songs and your brain starts to go, I get this. I get it. I can learn these other songs without even really having to think too hard about it or try, right? I was listening to a song while I was away from my guitar, listening to a Magnitude song from Of Days Renewed. And I thought to myself, I think I already know how to play it. I haven't even tried it yet. This is after I've already learned a few songs, right? But I'm listening to another song and I'm thinking to myself, wow, I think I know what to do here. I haven't even tried it yet. And I think I would say, like, if I were to give a rough estimate. I'd give myself like, I got it 95% right. I had to perfect a couple things, but I mostly got it right. And you could just go from there. Magnitudes of Days Renewed is a perfect album in my opinion, from beginning to start. From start to finish, I mean, from start to finish. Perfect album. It feels good. It's awesome. It's an album that you can even show to someone who's not into hardcore yet. Maybe you have a friend who's into thrash metal. Show them this. They might think it's thrash metal for a second. Then they're like, why is everyone moshing? Why is everyone swinging and kicking? It's a great album. Great hardcore album. It's angry. It's aggressive. But also, it's like easy listening. All the songs are like, they're not too proggy, not too weird of songwriting. It just gets straight to the point and punches you in the face. The first song is called Deliverance. And I know this because it just starts like this. Deliverance. Just immediately. God, those songs are so fun to play. I haven't played them in months, but I could just go put that album on right now and play the whole album front to back. I'm sure I could. I'll probably make some mistakes because I haven't practiced, but I guarantee you I remember it. Lots of good songs on this album. There's one called Rectify. Remove the veil. My girlfriend calls that song the Jujutsu Kaisen song. I think it's really funny. I forget which song it is right now, but there's a breakdown. There's a song that has two breakdowns. One that's kind of like a jumpy breakdown, like one of these kind of breakdowns. You know what I mean? Then you hear it slow down from that to from like a jumpy, bouncy, almost happy and energetic breakdown to a slow, like a, this is get fucking crazy right here. You get what I'm saying? Follow a breakdown with another breakdown. Love it. There's a bridge in between the two breakdowns too. You get what I'm saying? It's really good songwriting that just, it makes sense to you the first time you hear it. I could talk about this album for a long time. Let me think about what else I'd like to say before I wrap it up. There's just so many reasons to like this. I don't know why, but my brain is really demanding to compare this band to Bane. I'm not sure why. They don't really sound like Bane, but you could easily see these guys touring with Bane. It would make perfect sense. I don't think Bane is straight edge. They might be, but you don't really, no, that's not true. They do have some kind of like anti-drug songs, but I just feel like it's not fully like the front of their personality like it is for Magnitude. And as you can see, I'm not straight edge, but I really admire straight edge music, straight edge bands, straight edge people. You guys are the heroes, okay? I've been doing this for years. I'm 31. I've got stomach issues. I've got ADD. I've got body aches. My knee really hurts right now. My sciatic's been really acting up, which I think is affecting the knee. So that's my excuse, okay? But also, whatever. I love straight edge people. I love straight edge music. This is my favorite album of the year. And I hope you guys understand, like, I don't like it because it's straight edge necessarily. I just think it's kind of cool that it's straight edge. Almost like you guys will probably think this is cringe. I think when something's vegan, that's really cool. It's like, hey, you are doing something good. You are being like a positive example for others. I might not be following that example myself, but kudos to you, right? I don't think there's anything like morally wrong with doing those things. I admire people who make those decisions. But again, like, I'm not gonna add points or make preferential treatment. Like, look at me, I smoke weed. I live in California. I'm surrounded by weed. It's kind of hard to not know someone with weed around here, okay? The point I'm trying to make is Make your own decisions, live your best life, listen to good music like Magnitudes of Days Renewed, because this album just rules. It rules. The point I brought up the weed thing because I was gonna say, like, I'm a stoner. Shouldn't I like stoner bands more than not stoner bands? I think that's a highly stupid way of looking at stuff. So I didn't even want to entertain that. But it is stupid. Like, you could be sober and be a fan of like Cheech and Chong. Maybe you don't smoke weed, maybe you don't drink, but Cheech and Chong is like the funniest thing you've ever seen, or Pineapple Express. You get what I'm saying? It doesn't like how, and vice versa, right? I know I smoke weed, I'm not straight edge, but I super admire the straight edge movement. I admire what they're about, admire what they do, especially today. It used to be kind of scary when I was younger. Used to go to a show and be like, are they gonna beat me up because I smell like weed? No. Today in 2024, the straight edge kids and the pop, like the stoners, are both at the front grabbing the mic, and they're brothers at the shows. Okay, hardcore has never been better than it is right now. I'm dying on that hill. Every movement, every big music scene and every big movement has cringe people in it, of course. Not every band, not every person and every member of every band is gonna be a perfect example of how to behave right. Who fucking cares? All in all, hardcore music rules. This album rules. Go listen to Magnitudes of Days Renewed. Listen to hardcore punk in general. Listen to the classics. Listen to all these albums I've mentioned. And who knows, maybe in the description I'll list some honorable mentions. That list, don't even get me started. I'm not gonna even try to organize it because there's so many good releases that came out this year. You have like Gel had a release, for example. Scowl had a release this year. Zulu, I don't remember if I actually mentioned them on this review. Were they in this top 10? Maybe not, but Zulu had a release in 2023. Absurd. Go listen to hardcore punk. You'll love it. And so that's it. That's all I've got for you guys today. What do you guys think about my top 10 hardcore releases of 2023? Do you guys agree with my list? Do you disagree? I think you should let me know in the comments. Look me up on pretty much any social media. It's just oozePOP. OOZPOP. With the exception of Twitter. On Twitter, I'm oozePOP TV. Okay? You can find me on Twitch, Rumble, Kick, Instagram, Twitter. Let's be friends. Let's talk about music. Let's talk about art. Let's be friends. Or even if you disagree with me or anything I've said, I want to hear that too. Let's have a discussion. But let's have an adult discussion. I don't anticipate any of you guys having this problem, but there are a lot of annoying children on the internet. Don't be one of those annoying children. Let's have a conversation like adults. Thanks for watching. Bye.